Supervisors regular monthly meeting. We're actually going to start with a presentation by two gentlemen. There's an item on the agenda today for the authorization of debt regarding the purchase of the property at 600 Prairie Highway. So these two gentlemen are going to start with the presentation. Then we'll open it up to public comment. So, gentlemen.
Evening all. Sean Guerin from Dinsmore Shoal, Lawn Council for the Township. The item for action this evening is the debt ordinance that looks like this, which we provided to the supervisors. I'll go through it briefly, and then answer any questions that the board or the administration might have. Section 1 of the ordinance describes, provides for various definitions, including bank will be lending the money, West Banco Bank. It talks about payment dates as such. It identifies, of course, the local government unit as the Township of Lancaster. It identifies my firm as bond counsel. It indicates that the note will be the general obligation note series in 2025. It will have a maturity on or about December 15th of 2045, or basically 20 years after we issue the note. It describes the project for which we're incurring the indebtedness, and that is the purchase or reimbursement for real estate and structures located thereon for the purpose of locating new township offices in a community center and making other capital improvements at the site and paying the costs of issuance of the financing. Section 2 provides for the authorization of the note. It indicates that the note will be issued in the maximum amount of $2 million, that it will bear interest at a variable rate that is based on an index plus a spread of 32 basis points with a maximum rate at any time of 12%. It talks about the payment dates, etc., that the township will enter into a loan agreement with the bank, and that various officers are authorized to execute documents in connection with the note. Section 3 authorizes the preparation of a debt statement by township officers. Section 4 talks about the security for the note, which is your general obligation taxing pledge. Section 5 provides for tax covenants regarding the expenditure of the proceeds of the note. It indicates that you are issuing what is referred to as a qualified tax exempt obligation, and that means you get a slightly lower interest rate because the bank can get certain benefits from owning that paper. It also provides that you may reimburse yourself from the proceeds of the note for prior purchase or prior expenditures. Section 6 provides for the award of the note to the bank and authorizes the execution of the purchase contract. Section 7 appoints my firm and the solicitor's firm as such for the completion of the financing and the documents related thereto. Section 8 provides for the settlement and all the actions and documents that will need to be drafted in connection with that. And Section 9 finally indicates that the note ordinance is a contract among the other documents between the township and the bank once the note is issued. The exhibits to the ordinance are a form of the loan agreement, which we will negotiate with the bank, a form of the note, the same, a maximum debt service schedule, which provides sort of the maximum parameters of the financing, i.e. That we're assuming the full amount will be drawn down at closing. We know that's not actually the case. And then we also assume a 12% interest rate, which we also know is not the case. And so those maximum parameters are just being provided for state law purposes so that when we make a filing, we can get it approved, given that this is a variable rate instrument. And I believe that covers everything.
The rate is, as of today,
Thank you very much.
3.9.
I was going to turn to you for that very information.
Based off the 5-year T-bill, which is at 3.58 today.
So 359 is the current interest rate. The interest rate will be set for 5 years,
Yes.
correct? And then reset based on whatever the index is at that time on each 5-year anniversary until the maturity.
Could you repeat the actual interest rate?
As of today, the 5-year T-bill is 3.58. If you add the 32 basis points, it would be 3.9 as of today.
So when we get to a closing,
3.9% interest.
Yes.
Thank you.
when we get to a closing, that rate will be fixed for whatever the rate. Does that rate vary between now and then?
Yes.
Okay, so whatever the T-bill rate is, plus the spread at closing will be fixed then for the first 5 years.
May I ask one more question? I hate to interrupt, but
Certainly.
has the rate changed over the last
It has been going down.
down?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Over what period of time?
Last couple months, and expected to drop a little bit more here in the near future.
Okay, thank you.
We can lock in the higher rate if you'd like, but.
Board have any questions? Money,
I don't
I don't.
questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this time, I'll open up the public comment. For those who have signed in, please step to the podium, state your full name and address. First up is Eric Tulio.
Eric Tutulio, 112 Victory Terrace. I am the school board representative for Lancaster and Forward Township, that's Region 8. As you know, there's been a lot of disinformation out about the Sun Valley High School project. And I want to clarify some of those. I know that Callery had sent a letter to the district based on that, directed to me. So just wanted to make sure that the supervisors and the administration and residents were aware of what was happening. So a couple things about what's going on at the school before the project. I wanted to talk about the VOTEC, since that's been one of the issues that was out there as well. There was talk about Sun Valley said no to the VOTEC budget. There was a reason for that, and the reason was the VOTEC came to us. We've expanded our VOTEC student population. We've doubled it in the last 10 years. We've been telling the VOTEC you have to expand. You have to close smaller classes. You have to get more classes open. This was the first year they were telling us, we cannot guarantee that we will be able to place all your students into the VOTEC. So at that point, we had to say, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, which is why we voted against that budget. Not for any other reason. We still paid it. We're still paying it. 200 and some odd kids are going to the VOTEC still, but that's the reason that that was voted against. The other thing that happened with the busing that everyone likes to talk about, the VOTEC did not adjust their hours to accommodate our students. We didn't have to pick our students up on regular bus runs starting at 5 in the morning in order to get them to the VOTEC in time. We did the central drop-off locations throughout the district to make sure that those VOTEC students could still get to the VOTEC in a timely manner, and they weren't late by taking our busing and our transportation. On to the big item. So when we talk about this project, there's a lot of disinformation out there on social media, especially on Facebook. A lot of things that are out there say that this has been done in secret. This has been a 4-year project that we've been talking about specifically with the IHS. We did the first feasibility study in 2014. We did the second one in 2021. Typically, schools do not do one in 20 years. We did 2 in a 5-year period. We did that because of the growth of this district. Not necessarily Lancaster, but Jackson, as everyone was talking about, and Cranberry. Jackson Township is building more homes now than Cranberry Township. Since 2021, 6,000 homes have been approved to be built in our area. Of those, about 2,000 have come online, about 4,000 more are supposed to come online by 2032, and there's another 1,000 plus that have been approved or going through the approval process that we know about right now. Over the past 4 years, we've had 8 public building committee meetings. We had 3 architect presentations and updates in open board meetings. We've had the 2 feasibility studies I mentioned, and we actually in 2022 did a parent, student, teacher, and public survey that people responded to. And we got over 1,000 people that responded to that. Excuse me. Some people also called this a Taj Mahal. To put it into perspective, some of those people also said that the Knox High School price, or the VA Center, that was the other one that was talked about. If you look at those and you adjust them for inflation, the NOC price per square foot is $489 per square foot. The VA Center is $535 a square foot. The SV project is at $474 per square foot. We're 4 times larger than NOC and twice as large as Mars. So when those comparisons are used, understand, we're 4 times larger than those schools. So when we look at doing this, it's one of those things that we have to consider just a scale. These 4,000 new homes I was talking about that are going to be coming online, they're going to generate over $12 million in new taxes if they're a simple $300,000 cell home. What we have to do for Act 34 is a 1973 Department of Education requirement that we fill that out. It's a static model that says, if you build this, how much your taxes have to go up to pay for it. It is not based on something like we have where it's a growing school district. Remember, there's 4 townships, 6 boroughs, I think, or the towns within that are growing, and that's where all this growth is coming from. Those 6,000 homes, that's gonna end up paying for it. The other lie that's out there, it's about your taxes will go up because of this. Every year in June, we set the budget for the following year. Set the timer for myself, so I apologize. That budget won't be set for that yearly basis, so there is no guarantee it's going up. We're just getting the new tax money in for these new houses that just came online. So we're gonna make sure that we look at that and we make adjustments accordingly. Some other things to consider. The annualized rates over the last 10 years, inflation has been 3.27%. SV taxes have only increased 1.5%. We don't get an automatic increase in revenue, not from the state. That has been set and level. We don't need to keep up with inflation there. These are the things that, unfortunately, we have to do sometimes. But also, in the last 7 years, we've had 3 zeros. We had one at 1.95% as well. We try to keep it at 0 year after year. Now, why would you believe me instead of someone else that's out there that's putting things on social media? You know, I've been your school board rep for 16 years. I serve on the PSERS board. That's the state pension. That's an $80 billion fund for the teachers' pension. I'm the chair of the Finance and Actuarial Committee. For 35 years, I've been a professional estimator for construction projects. I bid up to $8 billion projects every year. So I understand finances. I understand that. And I've lived 16 years of putting budgets together. Do not believe the lies that are out there. There's a lot of misinformation, and I just want to get it on the record that there is no guaranteed tax increase. That's not necessarily not going to happen, but it's not guaranteed to happen. We have to see what starts coming in. We'll see that money come in as these houses come online. They'll be in their escrows, paying it. Like I said, we're just starting to see some of that now. So just wanted to give everyone an update on that, just to get rid of some of that misinformation that's out there. I appreciate the supervisors giving me a chance to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric.
Unfortunately, I can just fix the hot water heater, so thank you guys.
Next up for public comment is Connie Delma.
I will sign up for
Okay. All right. Next is Tom Beach.
Sorry, Mr. Tulio left, because I wanted to address his issues. And, so I'll make it fairly short, fairly quick in response to, what he had to say. My name is Tom Beach, 6 Scott Ridge Road, Concord, PA. Mr. Tutulio, in a newspaper article that he was published and he responded for, he says that there were 5,989 homes approved to be built since 2021 in the school district, with 4,000 homes remain to be completed from already approved projects. Well, only 258 of those come from Lancaster Township, and none of those from this year. In fact, we're actually at -3 now due to the updated information received. I don't understand the math because somehow he says that these 5,900 homes are going to create 9,850 new children to the district. And that's spread over 15 years. that would be an influx of 400 new students per year, DeTulio said, according to the newspaper. We will have multiple demographic studies that were done as part of the feasibility studies that show that we will have 150 to 200 new students in the next 5 to 7 years. If we have 150 to 200 students in 7 years, how do we get 400 every year? I can't understand the math for that. If you take the 200 students the most, divide them by 5 years, I get 40 students, not 400. And they're not all gonna go into first grade. They're gonna go into all the grades. So they're gonna pick up 3 students per grade per year for the next 5 to 7 years. And of all those houses that are being built, he's assuming that all those children are gonna go to public school. What about the homeschool? What about the private school? What about the religious school? None of those numbers are being factored into this. You know, what is the student population by grade, by year for the last several years? What is the student population by township, by grade for the last 7 years? What is the change in the student population by those statistics? The above criteria change by year for each of those. We have no idea, those numbers are incomplete, throws out a set of numbers, and then throws out another set of numbers in the very next paragraph of the article that he responded to in the Butler Eagle, and the numbers aren't even close to one another. I don't think he has a clue as to how many students are there, how many students are going to be there, or what's going on. And I think this $165 million plan is somebody's idea of creating a Taj Mahal for the arts and entertainment when we need what he was talking about earlier in boat tech and technical skills. I'm sorry, I don't need that somebody can blow a horn to fix my car. I need somebody that knows how to change a set of brakes. And this whole thing with this growth of this unit is not consistent with the needs of our community. And I thank you, and I wish he would have stayed so he could respond to his crazy numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, I'm sorry, I can't read it right. Is it Judy Kress?
Yes. I have 2 issues. One is to the solicitor. I didn't go to the last meeting, but I saw you stand up here and tell everybody what they could do and what they couldn't do. And then I heard clapping from the peanut gallery, and I heard clapping here again tonight. Now, I don't understand how you could say that and not do anything.
So you're saying that I should have yelled at everyone again today?
No, you should have
I thought
yelled
about
it. Yeah, well, you should have yelled the first time, because, you made me feel like that, it was okay if it was a praise to the township.
Oh, I didn't.
That was the last meeting, it was on film, I watched it.
Oh, sure, right. The
And-
last
and
meeting
not
was a
only-
lot more out of order than today.
And, you didn't do anything, and you just smirked about it. So I was kind of like, why would you even set guidelines and rules and you don't even follow
I'm not sure about this one.
them?
But,
We could run the tape.
okay. You were talking about today?
No,
Or
the last meeting when you stood up and explained to
Right,
everybody.
last time I did go through the rules and the
Correct.
regs that you guys have.
Correct.
Didn't do it again today, but for the most part, besides the 2 episodes of clapping, which a gentleman that went over time did not deem it necessary for me to chastise anyone. Certainly could have, but I tried to pick and choose my battles. And I didn't think anything this evening, I didn't think anything this evening was worth me bringing up. Obviously, if you would like me to do that for every single infraction, I just don't think it's a good expenditure of time.
Well, my point is, you're setting guidelines, but you're not following. And my other point is, I own several properties in this area, and I've achieved the dream of paying them off And it's like I own my property. The one I had for 30 years went up over 600%. That's a lot of money. Now, the township is getting money, and the school's getting money, and the federal government shut down, the state government shut down. I think you guys ought to shut down your spending too. And I think the school board should too, because we've got a lot of debt we have to pay. And it's like, you know, where's this $2 million coming from? You have a 100-acre park. You had area carved out for your municipal building, but now you're not doing that. I'm puzzled by that. Why not?
We gave a presentation 2 months ago on why we're doing that.
But everybody's not happy with it. I mean, you guys, you forget who you represent, us.
How would you think we would pay for the building that we would have put at the park?
Well, from my understanding, supposedly you were supposed to get all kinds of grants, and I guess that didn't happen. And we were to match them,
And we're gonna apply for grants for this property.
but you're taking out a $2 million loan. That's an awful lot of money. So you're gonna get grants to match that? Again, you know, federal, state, or local, it's taxpayer, it's all our money. I think we need to be a little more transparent in the way we spend our money, and you guys need to be good stewards.
Mr. Press, do you know when the last time your local taxes went up?
Yes,
The ones from Lancaster County?
Yes.
specifically?
probably within the last 5 years. Now they have a community college tax on there, they have a fire hydrant tax, they have a fire tax, I mean, come on.
Those aren't Lancaster.
I'm
those aren't
not
local
saying
taxes.
I'm not saying that they are, I'm just talking state and local and federal governments, all our tax money.
We are truly not raising your taxes. This building is not gonna raise taxes. If you have issues with fire hydrants and the federal government, the state government, county government, that's not us. We're
I'm
not
just
doing that.
bringing up the topic that everybody else's spending is shut down, and I think ours should be too, because people are on fixed incomes. I can pay it, and I can pay more, but you know, why should you bleed me dry?
We are not
It's
leading
not our
you
goal.
dry, nor is this building going to cause an increase in your taxes.
But you're gonna be paying 12% interest on the loan.
No.
No.
Well, actually, you misunderstood. what
No,
you said.
it's gonna stay for 5 years, and then it's gonna be readjusted.
Can you guys address that question, the bankers?
The rate as of today is 3.9,
Did you sign a loan yet?
and it
Is
is
it variable?
it is
Well,
adjustable every 5 years.
again,
And normally, the bank will not put a ceiling on a loan. We have to do that for BCD purposes. So if you get an adjustable rate mortgage, there is no limit. We have to put those on for municipal deals for the BCD. In my lifetime, I've been doing this for 26 years, have not seen a 12% tax or interest rate for a municipality. Not saying it won't happen, but in my history, it has.
But to be very clear, we are not raising your taxes. This building will not raise your taxes. So you understand, if you have an issue with other parts of our government,
can you put that in writing?
that's not the plan right now.
But you're telling me it's not gonna cost me more money in taxes. If you can put that in writing, I feel better, sir, but I can see that you won't.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So I'm glad you made that.
Next up, we have John Meyer. Okay, next up, we have Steve Pruskowski.
Steve Pruskowski, 105 American School Road. Now, I was, have a lot of other stuff to go over, but one thing I wanted to share Wednesday, I went around saying, I was looking for the brand new white truck. Don't know where it's at.
I'm sorry.
The new truck that we bought in January, where's it at?
It's in the garage.
now. It is?
I mean, on Wednesday, that truck was on Wayside Road.
Okay, so why don't we, on the bills paid list, we've got Frida Freightliner for $6,600. It's nothing for any repairs on that white truck.
On the white truck.
Okay,
It's a freight runner. The white truck is a map. The truck's a map. A map.
okay. And on the bills paid list, I see Logan Caster, $10,000.
Logan Caster was the deposit for the sales agreement. It went to Logan Caster. They did they were the closing agent for the property 600 Perry Highway. That was the hand money that we gave.
Okay. Okay. You know, back in July, I asked how we were doing as far as our budget. And Greg, you said it would be $80,000 in the hole. How do we stand today?
How much?
80,000 back in July. How do we stand today?
So may I add some clarity? You're not in the hole in the budget. You might be over budget $80,000 at that given time.
Okay.
But you have until the end of the year to adjust that.
What are we now? To this
We're
month?
on track. We're actually to the good right now.
Yes, we're to the good.
Okay. Good.
Year over versus budget.
What's that?
Versus budget, we're to the good.
How many police cars we have? I think I've counted 4 marked police cars in a truck. I thought we were getting rid of them. We're gonna have 3 police cars in the truck.
But one of them is going to be used by the.
Yeah. I will share that. We decided to keep, the supervisors expected me to drive one of the police cars. We were going to keep one for public works and for me and for zoning and code enforcement officers to drive around. We felt, after meeting with Sergeant Cornell, that it would be better for one of the police officers to keep that car and to keep it as a police car. And then it would divide up the use of all the cars, so we would get a longer life out of the new cars that we purchased. So we can extend the life and expand it in our capital improvement plan and not replace cars, replace all the cars at the same time.
Like last year, we replaced them all at the same time.
Correct.
One stagger.
So we're trying to get on a different rotation,
Well, we
so we're
always
not
have.
spending all that money.
We always buy one every other year.
Well,
But last year we ended up buying all.
correct. So now we'll be able to retain 2 cars and switch
And we
2
still have
out.
our truck too.
Yes.
Are we gonna mark that or leave it unmarked?
I think that's a police question. We'll decide that in the future.
Okay. What is our current solicitor's rate?
Can we answer that?
Sure.
Sure. Partner's rate, which would be myself, is $200 an hour, and associate to $195.
Okay. Now, does your rate start from the time you leave Pittsburgh?
No, actually, the 1 monthly meeting is part of a retainer, so you don't
We
pay an
don't
hourly rate for attendance at the one meeting,
pay? Okay.
not any special meetings.
Next question is, are we gonna charge the previous solicitor for any unfinished legal litigation that we've had in town?
He volunteered that at the.
Yes, he did
2
work
meetings.
for us for both.
Or, did he ever pay us back for the zoning hearing board that he said he wasn't gonna charge us for?
He did the work for that pro bono. He did a lot of preparation.
Okay. That's all.
Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
Next up, we have Andrew Turco.
Just curious on how much money we're spending a month on breaking those.
We've actually just started, because we've got an influx of right to knows recently, we're starting to compile that. But it's probably 40% of our legal budget.
Over the course of the year, and it's not just our legal fees.
Payroll.
It's payroll. Mary and Shirley and Sylvia and Tom are spending sometimes 50% or more of their work week answering the right to knows. The legal fees are substantial.
Your right to knows are excessive,
They're
more than I've
excessive.
ever seen.
Can we publish the right to knows and where it comes from, Michelle? Is that part of transparency?
If you had a policy that you were going to do it for every right to know received, I don't think you could do it right now, but if you wanted to incorporate some type of policy, so for transparency purposes, and it applied to everyone, you see why you couldn't.
At one time, we were tracking how many We're gonna resurrect that.
So you may have just answered this, but is there a way to publicize the person's name that is doing the right to know, so that way the same people that complain about cutting budgets, we can turn around and look at them and say, hey, here's where the wasted money's going?
Not
No,
yet,
you can't.
not at this point, not with our current papers on the books, but it's something that we can certainly look at
I think
and
that's
adopt a policy.
Great idea.
Well, we'll start sharing how many right to knows we're getting on a monthly basis.
Cool.
Just
Thank you.
like we do buildings permit.
It's a good question, thank you.
Last on the list is Darla Sapienza.
Thank you for putting me last. As you know, I have an ongoing thing with my neighbor, and it's been a curb. And it had pertained to the equipment that was sitting across from my property. This rusting, he has a lot of property, he could put it back behind, doesn't have to be along the road. He did, and I complimented him. I called him and I told him, thank you. He moved everything, he mowed it, and it looked 90% better. But he's got the worst of the worst still sitting there. Their tires, I don't know if he can't move them, but there is an ordinance, and I told him there's an ordinance. He told me he would look it up, and call me back, but I have not received a call back. So I just wanna keep this on the record. Maybe we can get everything moved and everything will be fine. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bud.
Okay, we'll continue on. The next public comment.
Excuse me, Frank, I apologize. I didn't realize we had 2 meetings tonight, and I spoke.
That's all right. We recognize that.
Well, I appreciate that. One thing I do want to say, both present and past county controllers have been critical of the spending project. It's not just Facebook. There are people who know finance and government finance. And they are both. Jack had 20 years service. Ben is, I think, into his second term. They both have been critical.
We've also had local government support.
So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the agenda, administrative business. I'm seeking a motion to approve the minutes from the September 2022 Board of Supervisors meeting and the October 8th special meeting that was held. Those minutes have been circulated. Any questions, supervisors, or comments on those?
No. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the September 22nd Board of Supervisors meeting and the October 8th special meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries. Seeking a motion to approve the bills to be paid list from September 13th, 2025 through October the 10th of 2025. That is totaling $96,003.43. The details of the bills of pay have been circulated. Any questions on these?
No. I make a motion to approve the bills to be paid from September 13th through October 10th, totaling $96,003.43.
And I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. There's no old business to discuss. Moving on to new business. We're seeking a motion to advertise the special meeting on November the 3rd at 4 p.m. regarding the facts and conclusions of the law to make a decision regarding the public hearing for the landowner curative amendment for the Wrigley 19 LLC property.
I make a motion to advertise a special meeting on November 3rd at 4 p.m.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Seeking a motion to approve ordinance 2025-124, authorizing non-electoral debt in the presently estimated maximum of $2 million for the purchase of the 600 Perry Highway property.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-124, authorizing non-electoral debt in the presently estimated maximum amount of $2 million.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right, may I add something, please?
Yes.
So that, for the public, the amount of the purchase is $1 million. There is another $1 million that we have added as a, if there's a potential need. When you get a grant, you're required to expend the money prior to receiving the funds back. For example, if we got $1 million grant from someone, we would have to expend that money. Most of the time, they're a 50% match anyway. And a lot of times we use the purchase of the property as a match, which is a wonderful thing. But if we are able to get these grants, we are able to have money in the bank and stay in the bank for a certain period of time to be able to expend it without going into our coffers in order to pay back, whether it's construction or whatever, and use that. If we don't need it, then we're guaranteed by the bank that we can return that $1 million, and we are not penalized for that.
Whatever's not borrowed at the end of the 12-month construction period, that's what we'll amortize. So if you don't borrow any of the additional funds, it would be $1 million that would amortize.
So that is why we proposed the $2 million as opposed to just $1 million. The plan is to borrow $1 million. We wanted to make that clear so that you understand we are being fiscally responsible. But if we do have to expend the money for the grants to pay for construction or whatever, we will be able to borrow that until we get the money reimbursed by the state, if they ever pass a budget, or the federal government, if they ever pass a budget, or if they ever come back into session. So that's why we put that number at $2 million. Thank you.
No, thank you. And Mary's right, and that kind of runs through everything that we're doing. We're trying really hard to be proactive so that we're staying ahead of the curve and we're able to respond, not to what's happening today, but what we see happening a year to 5 years out into the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary. Moving on to other business. A motion to hire Barbara Mansek to fill the position of Executive Secretary/Finance Secretary. With a start date of Monday the 27th.
I make a motion to hire Barbara Mansky to the position of Executive Secretary of Finance.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Seeking a motion to approve Ed Spurt, Sylvia Wack, and Shirley Stein's attendance to the PSAT Zoning Academy. Mary, estimated cost on that registration?
$750 maximum. And for clarity too, Shirley she's been invaluable in our planning department, and because of the tremendous amount of things going on, we'd like to focus her in planning, and she would be the administrator for planning and code enforcement.
I make a motion to approve Ed Spurt, Sylvia Wack, and Shirley Stein's attendance at the PSAT. So
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to planning, zone use, land use and zoning. The building permits issued in the month of September were 5. Year to date, we are at 95. Continuing on to the agenda, staff reports, attorney's report. Michelle, anything to add this evening?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You've received my written report, and I have nothing to add to that.
Thank you. Manager's report, Mary, anything to this evening?
I've got a couple of things. I won't go through this full list, but we're continuing police negotiations, contract negotiations. We received the appraisal for the property at 600 Perry Highway.
Second.
Second appraisal. I forwarded that to the Board of Supervisors. That appraisal came in at $1,015,000. We also had our phase one study. I spoke to CEC, civil environmental consultants, and Mary King is doing the phase studies. We did find that there was a gas station at that property in the 50s and early 60s. So we have to do a phase two study. So that will continue. I have a letter of commitment from the county that I'll have on record at the office that shows that they're committed to doing, they paid for the phase one, they will pay for the phase two, and they will pay for the remediation. So
If it gets to it.
if it gets to that point. But, you know, they didn't remove gas stations back in the day, so, or gas pumps, or gas tanks, so we're quite sure we'll find something. I met with two contractors, I called three to come out and look at the property. I gave, the contractors the estimates that I had, calculated with Tom when we had our, special meeting on August 11th. And both contractors said that those numbers were well within range, and they see us being able to complete the project within the numbers that we had recommended, and I will have those reports in the office as well, so anyone that'd like to stop in and see them. I cannot put the appraisal online according to the appraiser. They said I cannot make it public, but I can show anyone. So you're welcome to come in the office and see it. I contacted PA American about the water service at the community center. They gave us an estimated cost of $130,000 to run water. We're revisiting that, and we're going to continue to look at ways to get public water up to this building and the township building. One of the things they wanted us to do was to look at getting other people that are on that route to consider a tap in. So I will be reaching out to the neighbors to see if they're willing to do that. We processed 3 right to knows in the last few weeks, and we have 2 appeals. We're still working on the budget and trying to finalize that. Worked on the security amendment. We're getting the health insurance documents out. We continue to work with the MMO. We process the MMO documents for the retirement for police and non-uniformed. Prepared for special meetings. We finalized the information with Joella Baker concerning the community day event. Got that information to the Parks Committee and attended multiple meetings. I met with Jay Brunel concerning Hermie EMS. They'd like us to provide a letter of support for a grant that they've applied for a new garage for their EMS center. Met with Kristen regarding updates for the website. Thank you, Dave Carlson. He gave us some recommendations concerning maybe helping out with permits and streamlining our applications for permits, and we're continuing to work with that. And Dave's wife, Kathy, has been helping us process documents. We have an unbelievable amount of documents and paper that are stored, and we're working through those to see what we can actually dispose of, what we have to keep, and how we can digitize those. And that's about all I'm going to share tonight.
What does an average appeal to a right to know cost?
Appeal?
I estimate them at about $1,500 in appeal.
Okay, moving on to administrative report. Shirley, anything this evening?
I got a little bit, I was only here 2 weeks, as you know, I wasn't here at the last meeting, you know, vacation. So sorry. But, in the period, there was a lot of things I had to get caught up because I really wanted to know how to do some things around there. So I was catching up on them. I had about 32 emails to respond to, and, there was also a couple of building permits I had to create and contact the, submitter, and they picked them up. So, and I had about 4 to 5 personal visits, people wanting copies of
building permits, have questions. Sometimes they just stop in the office and have questions. I work 24 hours a week, so I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30. In that time, in the last 2 weeks, probably 90% of my time has been shared between doing the minutes that you have for this meeting for September 22nd and October 8th, and the write the notes. They're extremely time consuming.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Moving on, engineers report. Tom, anything to add, Stephen?
The only thing we have is Fieldstone Development is attempting to get their development paid. Unfortunately, the weather is not cooperating yet. There are only 5 lots, but 2 have been sold. We have a building permit that's been applied for, but we can't process until that is paid. So there's some residents that want to move in and get moving. Obviously, a good point for the township.
Thank you, Tom. Police report, Mike.
Total calls year to date increased by 12% from 2024. Total calls of the month from last year to this year, the month of September was only 1 call increase. Our business checks have gone up significantly. Medicals are still almost 3 times what they were last year. Phone calls have also increased. All the officers completed their training for qualifications, tasers, rifles, pistols. Officer Open is in CIP training all this week, and I completed the training in advanced body worn cameras and force science training.
Thank you, Mike. Supervisor, any questions? Yeah. Moving on to the road report, Ed.
Yeah, since our last meeting, we ditched the north end of Whitestown Road to East Rank after the pump messing with the grader. They came back and put down some of the stabilized gravel that made us run. Previously, we ditched the lower portion of Whitestown from Betsy Drive to Little Creek Road. Came back and put some stabilized gravel on that portion as well. We only have about 25 tons of that material left, so we put down 400 tons of that material. We're still going to do the bends along Whitestown Road. And we're done ditching that. We did put down roughly 30 tons of that stabilized gravel along Little Creek Road to try to save what's left of it. The edges were pretty soft and just trying to line the road a little bit. We boom mowed throughout the township. We are not finished, so please be patient as we are doing it on rain days and when we do not have Kate. She's our part-time girl and she's flagger certified, so when we don't have her, we don't use it. We did use the new Buffalo blower multiple times to blow the leaves out of the ditches, especially when they're going for rain. We mounted the plow on the new mat, made some plans for some adjustments, and planned for the spreader mounting before the snow floods. Future plans are to finish mounting all that stuff on the mat, finish boom mowing, finish the ditch grading, and if weather permits, we're going to mobilize the equipment that's covered for the ditch that portion of the township.
Thanks, Ed.
Can I say something? I don't live on Bellis Road, but they did a great job.
Thank you.
I just went down it the other day and I even called after your message.
Thanks, Darla.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sylvia is not here, so we do not have a zoning report. That concludes the agenda, so I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks.